Hey there, what's up? It's Phil and Pete again, and we just watched episode 4 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, entitled The Last of the Starks. We think, right? Because it's hard as fuck to get the titles.
We can't find the title.
Last podcast, I was positive that the title was Lord Snow. It even showed up. It showed up on the screen, didn't it?
It did show up on the screen, but it was an inappropriate title, so it seemed wrong.
Yeah, and then later I find out that it's The Last Night, which is much more appropriate.
Which made more sense.
Yeah, and then I had to change it. So F Game of Thrones with that. I don't get what the deal is with not putting out the titles of their episodes. But okay, so this is the last of the Starks, and there's only 4 of them left. Well, 3, right?
Yeah, it depends on who you consider a Stark.
Yeah, technically 3, because Jon isn't really a Stark at all. Oh, no, well, he's half Stark, because the aunt.
He is, because Lyanna is his mother.
Yeah, so he is still a Stark. So, 3.5 Starks left in this show, and we'll talk about all of that, because this was a big revelation episode. But it started out with what it should have started out with. The funeral scene, we have a little bit of closure for all the characters that died during the war. Jorah finally got a kiss.
Yeah, that's what the friend zone gets you.
He got a little kiss at the end, and they burned all the bodies. Jon Snow gave a nice little speech about remembering all these people that died for us, and we put our differences aside. That's lasted for about a week.
Oh, not even that, man. It lasted for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, put our differences aside for now.
It all seems so beautiful at the end too. Like they beat the White Walkers, they came together, and like instantly they were at each other's throats.
Instantly, which is great because that's what Game of Thrones is supposed to be about. But before we get down into like the nitty gritty of this episode, I will say, just a general notice here, that I was kind of happy with it, given everything that the last episode was, and even not just the last, but the last 3 episodes were building up with the Night King. And for a lot of people, I think, just what my impression from reading a lot of blogs and listening to a lot of YouTubers, is that there were a big chunk of the fan base really thought that the Night King was the the end all,
the primary predator.
Yeah, the primary predator. And
no, Cersei is
Cersei is exactly
endgame.
Exactly. So and I like that they were able to transition to old school Game of Thrones, which I miss. I mean,
you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Exactly. I'm not a huge fan of fantasy at all. I mean, aside from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So
Lord of the Rings blows, actually.
Oh, really? I actually liked it. I read the books. Can you believe it? I actually read the books before the movies, and then I watched the movies. And for whatever reason, I enjoyed Lord of the Rings. But I'm not a huge fan of fantasy. And when Game of Thrones started to introduce more of the fantasy element, especially like season 5, season 6, I liked it because it was well done, but it isn't like what drew me to the series to begin, which is season 1 through 4, which is just down and dirty politics and backstabbing.
Yeah, it's real politics.
Yeah.
It's real politics.
So it's cool to see that back on the show. In this episode, really, I think it had a pretty good... it was a good step back into that, and it seemed confident enough in itself to be able to go back to that.
Yeah.
Especially after all the shit that went down in episode 3.
Yeah, they had the big battle, and now it's time to get back to business.
Exactly. But after the big battle, of course, in the funeral scene, they do have a victory dinner, of course. And they were all celebrating, a lot of funny scenes in here. And as I was watching, I commented here with Peter that because we usually give all these episodes our own names, right. And I think we dubbed this episode the Shady Look episode.
Yes, there were a lot of funny looks being given.
Yeah. This dinner scene was full of them. It was either Jon looking side-eyed at Daenerys looking side-eyed at Sansa,
Yeah,
Tyrion.
Brienne had some side-eyed moments as
Yes,
well.
yeah. Oh, with especially with what's his name, Giant's Bane.
Tormund.
Yeah, Tormund, and then uh, little Tyrion giving a side eye to Sansa across the way.
Yeah, Sansa
And
was shifty, man.
man, Sansa ain't the little bird anymore. She had a
Yeah,
nice little conversation with Clegane, the hounds,
yeah,
and she said, "I'm not that little bird anymore."
yeah. And actually, I recently rewatched season 2, which is the one where he offers to take her out of the capital, and she declines. Actually, stupid little cunt. She actually like says, "No, I'm Joffrey's queen," and then like he leaves the capital. He chickens out in the Battle of Backwater, and and then what's her name, Marjorie Tyrell offers herself up as a bride, and Cersei is like, well, because his betrothed is a daughter of a traitor, we're gonna kick her to the curb.
Yep, I remember that. I remember that. And poor Sansa, man. I mean, but she did it to
Yeah,
herself a lot in the beginning.
but she doesn't get off the hook. She thinks like, okay, like he's not gonna marry me, so he's not gonna torture me anymore. And Littlefinger is like, guess what? He's just gonna torture you more.
Hmm. Exactly. Well, great character development for her, though. I mean, who would have thought that she would be the character that she is now?
Yeah, she's
That
strong. She's
she's
strong.
strong to a fault, maybe in some ways, but
Yeah, I think she's giving her brother some bad advice,
yes,
but
I,
I don't know that there is good advice for him to get at this point.
yeah. I
He's
think
pretty fucked.
I think the thing with Sansa is that she developed as this character into a strong character, but she got her strength from all the wrong places.
Yes.
So I think she learned a whole lot from Cersei.
Yeah.
She learned a whole lot from Ramsay. She learned a hell of a lot from Littlefinger. So she had these great tutors that are survivalist. I mean, they know how
Yeah.
to survive, but she's still. I mean, she. I think in her heart, she's a pure girl. She's much purer than those three. Obviously, she's much purer than those three, which is what saves her. But at the same time, that's where she learned all her lessons on how to make it to the other side in one piece. So I'm feeling, especially in this dinner scene, and especially after some conversations she's had before with Daenerys, that she's ready to off Daenerys. She wants to do.
Yeah, I
She's got to
think
do something.
she's reaching the point where she's not going to take orders from her brother. She's not going to take orders from Daenerys. She's going to do her own fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah. And this dinner scene just foreshadowed it a little bit more. I mean, it was given clues, obviously, with all these side eye glances, but then her conversation with Clegane, where he felt sorry for her. He was like, "I'm sorry that after you got out of there, you had to deal with Littlefinger, and you had to deal
Yeah,
with
but you know what? She says that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the
exactly,
person I am today.
exactly." Which is the foreshadowing of she learned some cruelty. She learned some of the dark side.
She waxed Littlefinger.
Yes, so we shall see what her end game is and whether or not she will do something to Daenerys or who knows to somebody. And you'll know why we say this in a little bit because Daenerys and Jon have a little conversation which is
Right.
interesting. But before we get to that part, I mean we're still kind of jovial here. We have what the moment everybody's been waiting for.
Oh, they did it. They did it.
Yep.
They did the nasty.
Yeah, and it was a great moment for another great moment for Brienne. Brienne's had a lot of great moments
Yeah, she
so far this
is.
season.
Yeah, which pretty much puts her on death watch.
Yeah, well, oh, I hope she makes it to the end. Uh, but yeah, she's a little bit taller than Jamie, so there was some good. What did Tyrion say to him? It was I was happy to see you have to climb something for once, right? Which is really nice. And yeah, these two. aren't meant for each other,
Yeah,
but they are at the same time.
well, it's really ironic because in the book, Catelyn Stark survives the Red Wedding,
Hmm.
and she becomes like, I don't know, this kind of supernatural creature, and the because George Martin is never going to finish the fucking books, but as the books are finishing, um, as we speak, his mission for Catelyn is for Brienne to kill Jamie. And it's kind of weird to see them turn out like this after reading the direction their characters went in the book.
Yeah, totally different. Now, what does happen is that we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, but I figured we get the whole Jamie and Brienne arc out of the way. Is that towards the end of the episode, when Jamie finds out that hey, Cersei's being a bitch and they're probably gonna burn down the whole city,
Hmm.
he decides that hey, I gotta get down to King's Landing.
I was disappointed.
I was too. I mean, it's not clear exactly what he's gonna do down there. I mean, because he knows that there's a hit out for him,
Yeah.
and we'll get to that in a second. And he knows he's pretty much fallen out with his sister. So what exactly does he want to do? Does he want to fight with Daenerys' army?
I think he wants to protect the people.
Yeah, but how's he gonna do that? Is he gonna fight with Daenerys' army? Is he gonna try to talk to Cersei? The things you do for love, I don't know. I mean, it was disappointing, but in a way, it felt kind of real because you can't just you don't just suddenly turn into this good guy.
No, no.
In a real world.
I mean, look, this is a guy whose character evolution revolved around him raping his sister
Yes.
over their son's corpse.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's a great guy.
No, and he can't. He didn't just fall out of love with his sister. He still loves her.
Yeah.
And in a way, I like. It was disappointing that he did that, but I liked that he did it from a writer's perspective.
Mhm.
Of like, it makes sense that Jamie's not all of a sudden going to become this good guy. Not in this Game of Thrones world where we were kind of criticizing a little bit how in the later seasons it's gotten a lot more black and white.
Yes.
It's
well,
nice
I,
to
I
see
wouldn't
some
say
gray area.
criticizing. I would say that.
Now, for me, it's a criticism.
Okay.
Yeah, I like more the gray area.
All right.
I mean, the thing is, they do it well.
Yes.
They do it well enough where you can just deal with the fact now it's much more television-ish. Like this is the good guys, these are the bad guys. But so it's nice to see some gray area back in some of the characters.
Right.
And especially Jamie. You're like,
Yeah.
man, I've been falling in love with this guy, and now what is he
He
gonna go back?
He is the gray area himself.
Yes.
I mean, in season 1, Jamie Lannister is a fucking prick.
No, he's a fucking prick for me all the way up through season 4, maybe even 5. No, I mean really, when he saved Tyrion, that was like my first moment where I was like, oh cool, he's got a heart.
When he fights Brienne, when he fights a bear for Brienne.
Yes, that was nice, but that was just him and Brienne, which you saw him growing a little bit, but it kind of felt like he was doing that because he had this connection with this one person. But it didn't seem like it would expand beyond just Brienne.
Right.
And then when he saved Tyrion and he saw that, hey, my father really is nuts and Cersei is nuts.
But after he saved Tyrion, and Tyrion killed their father,
yes.
he was like, I'm going to kill that motherfucker next time I see him.
Yeah. So it was interesting, like all the ups and downs that he's had as a character. Really, the final blow really was when he left Cersei at the end of season. I guess it was the end of last season, right? Yeah,
season 7,
where he just said, "I'm gonna fight the dead."
Yeah, because she promises to send her army, and she tells him, "Actually, I'm not going to do that."
Yes.
And he's like, "Well, fuck you! Like you made a promise, and if you're not going to keep it, I am."
Yes. So I'm very curious to see where this all ends and who's going to kill whom. I think we have both predicted that Jamie's not going to last till the end of this series.
No.
And this little scene between them, I think, kind of foreshadowed that a little bit more. So we shall see. Now there were a bunch of other character moments at the dinner party. I guess the biggest one, although I mean it didn't really matter much for the plot as a whole, but Gendry becomes
he wants
a
her to be his wife, and
yeah.
she's like, "Fuck you!" Like it was just a fucking romp.
Yes, exactly. Because Daenerys actually does something intelligent on her own for once, and she makes Gendry the Lord of what the hell, Storm?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's storm something or other.
Storm something or other.
Yeah,
I forgot
it's not Harmheld.
Yeah, I've never even heard of the place before. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but it's Stannis' old castle.
okay.
Yeah.
And because he's a Baratheon.
Yeah.
So they kind of played it off like, hey, your dad tried to kill me. They all tried to kill me, and he's kind of shitting his pants for a
That's
second.
winning the battle of hearts and minds.
Well, that's being smart.
Yeah.
You need a ally.
Mm-hmm.
You need an ally. You need all the allies you can get. So what do you call it? She makes him Lord. Wait, let me see if I can find that. Gendry becomes the Lord of.
It's Dragonstone, I think.
It's not Dragonstone. Is it Dragonstone?
Yeah, that's Stannis' old castle.
What is a weird name that she said? Because actually, we had to play. That over. Let me see. Storm's End.
Storm's End. Yes.
Yes.
That is also Stannis' territory.
Yeah. So now he's no longer Gendry Rivers, but rather Gendry Baratheon, and he's now the head of his house and its ancestral seat. That's
which does not impress Arya at all.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I'm not gonna be. Was never meant to be a lady.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I'm not gonna be one. By the way, we got that information from popsugar.com. There you go. A little plug for their site. So there's a cute scene, kind of showed where Arya is. Everybody heralded her as a hero. She doesn't do much this episode, but that was like
she
her
deserved a break.
Yeah, she deserved a break. That was her little scene. And there's a bunch of little character moments. Tormund was heartbroken because Brienne didn't love him, and like I think we have already mentioned, there was a really nice scene between Sansa and the Hound where it showed that little bit of maliciousness in Sansa, which I think is going to pay off somehow, some way. I have no clue how.
That is coming back.
And other than that, and also there was a scene between the Hound and Arya on the horseback where he said he's going down to King's Landing because he's got unfinished business. So we are waiting for
we know what that is.
Clegane Ball.
That is
Clegane Ball.
Yes, for sure, man. That's gonna be like the best scene in the series, I think. Actually,
I hope I hope it builds up to it pays off. But here we go. Now we got Dany and Jon. This was the moment. The moment we've been waiting for. First off...
You think you got relationship issues?
Yes. Now, he started off kissing her and then he backed off and, because I think for her, she's a Targaryen. She's used to incest. Not a big deal.
Well, neither of them actually are... It surprises me that they're completely nonplussed about their biological relationship. It's like, okay, you're my aunt, but... whatever.
Yeah,
you're still hot.
Yeah, we did it already. So I mean, what's it gonna hurt if we just keep doing it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of secret for now.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. Human is fucking. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
later.
That's what I said. For now, it's a secret. Like I'm talking for now. Like in this little screenshot, it's still just Bran, Sam, and Daenerys and Jon that know. This.
There's just already like too many people.
Yes, 2 people too many. Like I mentioned to you, Ben Franklin has the great quote about if two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Yeah.
But this scene was great because it shows. I mean, that's one of the theories. A lot of people have that Daenerys will eventually become kind of a mad queen. She's more interested in this throne than anything, and she asked Jon to not tell anybody. And
Hmm.
he says, "Well, I got to tell my family."
Yeah, and that's fair.
It is
That
fair.
is fair.
And there was a
But he was wrong.
Of
He
course.
was wrong.
no, and that goes back to his inability to. He's like honest. What's that? Honest Abe. You know, he's got
Yeah,
that type
honest
of.
engine.
Yeah, he's got that. he's got that fault to
Yeah.
him. Because remember, he had that issue. I think it was last season too, where um, when they brought the White Walker over to Cersei, and he was supposed to kind of just say, I forgot what it was that he was supposed to say, just say that you're gonna bend the knee or say that you're gonna do something, and he couldn't do it
Right.
at the moment.
Yeah.
And Tyrion told him, you could have just lied. You know, I forgot
Mm.
exactly what it was that he had to do in order to just make that the negotiation go a lot better.
Right.
And he couldn't do it. And also, Sansa in season 6, that's fresher in my mind because I just watched all of season 6 on Wednesday. They had a scene together where John didn't tell her everything, and he said, no more secrets between us, you know, because they had a little bit of friction.
Right.
She hadn't told him everything that had gone on before they got met, and he hadn't told her everything, and he's like, man, if we're going to survive and we're going to rule this area together. Oh, you know what it was? Sansa hadn't told him about Littlefinger coming in to save at the end of the Battle of the Bastards.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was shit that he hadn't told her, and it's like, man, there's got to be no secrets between us if we're gonna have this bond and we're gonna really try to rule the North. And so, at least there was a reasoning for him, other than we're just family, for him to say, I can't keep this from them.
Right.
And you could see her.
She was mad.
Yeah,
man.
like she started out real nice about it. And he's like, you're my queen, and they're my family, and we can live together. And she said, yes, we can. I told you how. Told you how.
Well,
you know?
well, the thing is, the ideal situation would be them ruling together. But Daenerys doesn't want that. She doesn't want to rule with anybody, man. She wants it all for herself.
Exactly, and that's where I think the show is the series is showing. Yeah, it's kind of weird to say the show is showing, right? The series is showing how eventually she's gonna get to this Mad Queen level. She has this destiny in her mind.
Yeah,
that
it's been the only. And the thing is, like, it's not unreasonable because, like, she went through that whole experience of being burned in the fire, and she didn't get burned, and her dragon eggs hatched, and blah blah blah. So she has every reason to believe that this is her destiny.
Oh, I agree.
But you know, she's failing at it.
She's failing at it, and like Melisandre, the Red Witch, had mentioned on more than a few occasions. Because remember, she was certain
yeah. Fuck, she was a useless fucking twat.
You can't trust prophecy. You can't trust destiny. So what if Daenerys' destiny is just to be alive long enough to be able to save the North, so that Jon could be the king?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I like about prophecies in Game of Thrones, and George Martin plays with that.
They turn out to be bad.
Yes.
They turn out to be very bad.
Or if not bad, it's somebody's quote unquote destiny is really only a stepping stone for somebody else's true destiny.
Right.
Which maybe Daenerys can't get that concept. That maybe there was a reason you went through all of that. You went through all of that in order to make sure that Jon Snow stayed alive long enough for him to take that Iron Throne from right under you. And would she be able to handle that emotionally? I don't think so. And she showed a little bit of that in this.
Yeah, she got a bit cranky.
She did, and I'm glad they brought that up because obviously, I mean, of course, the main focus of the last two episodes, let's say, were this big battle. So there wasn't space for this conversation to happen, but it was missing, and I'm glad it came up this episode because it's definitely an issue that needed to be broached. But Jon Snow, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
He still knows nothing.
Yes, so of course, what does he do? They have
Fucking opens his big mouth.
yes, yes, because they're having the war plan. They're in the war room, and then as soon as he's about to leave,
Don't
Arya's
tell
like,
your siblings.
Yeah,
Well, guess what? I'm gonna tell my siblings.
yes, no, because that's exactly what Daenerys said. Just don't tell them.
Yeah,
And
but he
we'll
had
put-
to. He had to.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I'm like,
But the thing is, after he tells his siblings, they tell like 20 other people. After that, it's not a fucking secret anymore.
oh, I know. The only thing is this with Jon and why he's a bit of a dolt. Because I get you. I agree 100% with you, Peter. Yes, that's his family. He needs to tell them. But you see that your sister's really mad and
she
does
already
not like.
hates Daenerys.
She already hates Daenerys. She already wants her gone or whatever the fuck. And you just came out of a meeting where the two of them were butting heads about when they're going to go to King's Landing. And then you're going to tell them, oh, and by the way,
I'm the rightful heir of the kingdom.
Yeah.
But I don't want it.
Yeah, but I don't want it. And what do you think they're going to do with that information?
Yeah.
Like, I get telling them, but maybe, like, after you work your sister a little bit and say, look, you don't understand. I've had personal time with her.
I was actually shocked that Arya didn't know already. I figured that, like, I don't know, she has this ability to tap into people's mindsets. I figured she would know already. I mean, Sansa, of course, she's going to be dumbfounded, but I was shocked that Arya didn't know.
Oh, well, for me, Arya is just concerned. She's more worried about just killing people. She's got one thing on her mind is that list.
That list.
And Cersei's on that list. So that's
Yeah.
interesting because, I mean, they gave her the Night King death. Would they give her the Cersei death after that? Because those are two big deaths for one character to have. I don't know how they're going to play that out. But so that's the part that I thought was stupid with Jon Snow. Not that of course, I think his family deserves to know, but timing. It's all about timing. And I don't know if that was the right time for him to just say all that shit.
It was actually the right time because, I mean, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. Like, he had to drop the bomb as soon as he knew. And he didn't really, but that's because the Battle of Winterfell kind of interrupted his moment.
Yes.
But, he got it off his chest as soon as he could. So, fair props to Jon for that.
Oh, I don't know. I think I would have waited. I would have waited till after, I don't know, maybe just try to have like a mediation or something between the sisters or something that had to go down to let Sansa feel a little bit more confident.
The bad part is Sansa opening her big fucking mouth to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, after this, like, it was just like, okay, it's just between us. And then she tells like 20 fucking people.
Yes, and she told Tyrion.
Yeah.
Which was the most important character that she could have told that to. But, I mean, it's high drama. Yeah. High drama for the last couple seasons, the last couple episodes. I mean,
it doesn't make the next episode actually is going to be just like pure carnage. I think it's just going to be our heroes versus Cersei, but the last episode is definitely going to be cleanup time.
And we had one more little moment here that we need to talk about.
This was one that I really wanted to see because in the first episode, Bronn is approached with the offer of assassinating Cersei's brothers, and Bronn in the early seasons is portrayed as somebody who will do anything for money. So of course you think he might do it. But you want to believe, like all the other characters have evolved so much. They have become better people. And you want to think Bronn has become a better person. But it turns out he hasn't. He actually basically extorted more money from Tyrion. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, they put that in there in the first episode, and of course the focus shifted, and understandably so, to getting rid of the Night King in episodes 2 and 3. so they kind of dropped it. I thought it was a weird scene. One, because he just kind of made it to Winterfell, like nobody stopped him at the gate. He just like
Yeah,
walked in
yeah.
with like a
Well, because
fucking
he's a
bow and
friend.
arrow. Yeah, but he's carrying a huge.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay, so he showed up. That it's the post season 5. There's a lot of teleportation that goes on in Game of Thrones, so it is what it is. So he made it in there, and I guess it was fitting with his character. I didn't believe that he would do it, that he would actually kill them, but I didn't think it would be because of this. I kind of agree with you that you'd think that he would have a
He
little bit
extorted
of.
more money. That's what he did.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, like I got an offer to kill you. You once said that if I was offered to kill you, you double the offer.
Mhm.
What is double the offer? And Tyrion makes him one, and he's like, okay, you got a deal.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of stupid of him to not kill them because he's got a target on his back now with these
Yeah,
two.
he was really disappointing for me because I really, call me naive, but I think I really believed in their friendship.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I didn't think that he was gonna kill them, but for that reason is that I felt that he had at least a little tinge. I mean, he saved fucking Jamie from
Yeah.
getting burned alive.
Yeah.
He put his life on the line for Jamie. He's helped Tyrion out on more than a few occasions, although I don't think as much as he did Jamie. So it was weird. It was kind of like uh, maybe too cold even for him.
Yeah, it was not in character.
Yeah, it didn't feel as in character because he's done a whole lot for these guys in not always receiving
And-
what he was promised.
Exactly. And I mean, like he's been there for them all these times. Like,
Yeah.
why would he choose this time of all times to be a fucking mercenary?
Yeah, yeah.
He had all these fucking chances to sell people out, and he didn't. And now he does. It didn't feel right.
Yeah, well, they're gonna kind of. I guess they don't know what to do with his character, so that he just kind of walked off and is just gonna wait till the end of the war. But even then, I was like, wait, you just threatened to kill two motherfuckers. You don't think they're gonna remember that? And
Yeah.
then after the war is done, they're just gonna off your ass?
Well,
Do you really think you're gonna get that castle? Come on.
I think Tyrion honors his agreements, but I wouldn't be so sure about the others.
Yes. No, I agree, especially Jamie. But whatever. It was a short scene. At least they uh, continued with that storyline, but it wasn't
Yeah,
the
I'm glad they
strongest.
addressed it because that was something that I was wondering about. It's like, is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, they addressed it as fairly as they could.
Now, this morning, as I was on the internet, I got news that there was episode leaks, and
Which
although
there weren't.
well, the thing is, I couldn't find the full episodes, but I did check out some of these spoilers. They were all correct. There was the Jamie and Brienne sex scene, and then what we're about to see now, which is so. I kind of wish I'm so bad with spoilers. Like I don't want them, but at the same time, if they're there, I can't help not looking at them because I did the same thing with Endgame.
All right.
And I have to just slap myself and say, "Don't look at them. Don't look at them." Because as great as it was watching the full episode and seeing how it played out, I wish I hadn't seen them first. But yeah, they were all correct, and this was one of the spoilers that I saw.
Yeah.
Rhaegal, I guess that's how you pronounce the name. Rhaegon.
Yeah.
He gets killed. Oh man, that was so upsetting to watch. And he gets offed by.
It was a bad attack though. That whole attack was fucking stupid.
Was it
flying in over the Iron Fleet?
Oh yeah. The Iron Fleet.
Yeah, you're just asking for it. So yeah, it was a tragic death, but
they make a lot of bad military decisions up north, man.
Well, actually, it's not the bad military decisions from up north. Although Robb Stark was a fucking idiot. It's the Iron Fleet is actually really smart. I mean, they punked out Tyrion and Daenerys in what is it, season 6, when they go in by Blackwater Bay
Oh, to
again.
get into Casterly Rock, right?
Yeah,
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 they
yeah,
they
yeah.
fucked them up.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. The Ironborn are fucking smarter than they're given credit
Yeah,
for.
they're sneaky bastards. They're sneaky bastards. But this one, I think I'd go more with bad decision by Daenerys to fly her dragons in. One, because I mean, they already show that they have those big ass arrows from that season
Yeah,
7 episode.
right,
So they've had all this time to make more of them.
right,
So I probably wouldn't be flying my dragons over King's Landing without at least scouting it out first and seeing how
right.
many of these things do they have out there. And they put them on the ships, and she's flying like, woohoo, we're just gonna fly into King's Landing. Not
Yeah, they
exactly.
they got fucked up.
Yeah, so Daenerys fucked up again, just like when she sent all her fucking Dothraki charging into.
Well, she didn't send them charging. They went charging on their own.
But that was part of the plan to go charging out there. I
Right.
mean, it wasn't wait for them to come. It was charge and see how many they can kill, which is little. Oh, by the way, a lot of people complained about the bad lighting,
Lighting.
and
The darkness is a metaphor for
yeah,
darkness.
which is funny. I saw that clip, by the way, from BoJack
Yes.
Horseman, which is a show I gotta get into. I haven't seen any of those episodes
You'll like
yet.
it. You'll like it.
But I got a chance to see a few people have been doing like these re-edits where they like lighten it up a little bit, and I didn't.
They look beautiful.
It looks
actually.
beautiful, and actually that first scene is so great with a little bit of light because in the original, what we were squinting our eyes at, you just see the first Dothraki guy look up and you don't know what hits him.
Yeah.
It ends up it was a giant. Like
Oh,
they did a
I-
lightened up
I didn't
version
see
of
that.
it. And you can see the giant's foot coming down on him. I'm like, come
Really?
on, why would you? I'll show it to you later. It was really
Wow.
awesome. And I'm like, why would you screw shit like that up? It's so cool. Because all you see is just like he looks up, and of course, this blackness comes over him, and you just figure it's a whole bunch of the dead. But actually, he got squished by the giant's foot.
Oh shit.
And yeah, there were a few missed opportunities that episode to show some of the action, and it wouldn't have taken away from
Right.
the fact that it was the long night and winter is here and all of that. Really bad. And screw the fucking cinematographer who's like, it's not us that did anything wrong. It's your bad. You don't know how to use your
Yeah,
television.
you didn't turn the brightness up on your
Yeah,
television.
come on,
or-
man. He that was like a Cersei move. Like, I'm not. It's not our problem. It's your problem. Just
But that is literally what I'm saying. The darkness is a metaphor for darkness. The director is basically saying like, well, in medieval times they didn't have lighting, so we didn't use lighting either.
yeah. Come on, come on. So really, really bad. So I'm glad we got to see these scenes at least. So we got to see Rhaegon gets arrow to the chest, and then he gets one right to the neck. Which, by the way, I didn't notice when I saw the spoiler. I just saw the
I
one to the.
really thought he was going to live through that. Actually, I thought, okay, that first arrow hurt.
Yes.
The second one, yeah, he's not going
Yes.
to make it.
And then we see Daenerys, because she's a little bit of a dumbass too sometimes when her emotions get to her.
Yeah,
She gets real angry. She starts flying straight for the fucking ships. I'm like, oh man, is it going to be a 2-for-1?
yeah.
But it wasn't. Drogon manages to get out of the way. I don't know how, but he manages to evade a whole bunch of arrows. And Euron's laughing, and then Euron turns the arrows or the bow, I guess whatever the fuck that shit is. He points it towards the ships and starts blasting straight through the ships, which was kind of a cool fucking scene. I like that, seeing the arrows just run straight through the ships and break them apart. So everybody's got to jump into the water, which I don't get. I didn't really get that part about them all swimming the shore and why there wouldn't be people there just ready to attack and kill them, but whatever. But in all this, something terrible happens, but we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, yes. We have to get to Melisandre.
Yes, yeah, Melisandre. Or no, not Melisandre. I always get the name.
Melisandre.
Missandre.
Melisandre.
Yeah, I get those two names mixed up.
Yeah.
Missandre is not on the shore. But then we finally get a little bit of our Cersei.
We saw Cersei finally.
Yes.
She's not been in this show actually up until this point.
No, she is. She was in episode 1.
Episode 1.
Yeah, she was in episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2 and 3 were just, you got to take 2 and 3 as their own little mini series. You know, they just focused all on the North, which is understanding. I mean, it would be jarring to just show Cersei, a Cersei scene, when Cersei specifically said, or explicitly, I mean, said, I'm going to sit this one out and let them kill each other. So it wasn't needed, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But now she's back.
Oh, she's back. And she sat it out. She looks healthy. She looks rested.
Yeah, and she's kicking ass.
Yeah, she's kicking ass, and she's evil as ever. She puts all of King's Landings, well, not all of them, but she puts a whole bunch of the population right near the Red Keep, or wherever the main area is.
She uses the population as hostages.
Yeah, she's
like, if you want to take the kingdom, you're going to have to kill civilians.
She's going Hezbollah style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's using human shields. And Euron, she tells him, she's like, we're going to rule you as my king.
Yeah.
And our child.
He's dead the first chance he has.
Come on, I mean, yeah, seriously. You think he's going to survive Cersei? I doubt. If Cersei makes it to the end, which I know you want her to make it to the end. Like, part of me does. Part of me does, too.
It's not that I want her to make it to the end. It just seems that it's the logical conclusion.
Yeah. No, I mean, part of me wants her to make it to the end, too. But part of me wants a happy ending. I was talking to my good friend Beverly, who's a big fan of
Beverly. Shout out to Beverly.
Shout out to Beverly. And she mentioned that because we talk about Game of Thrones, and she said, "Oh, I hope Jon Snow ends up on the Iron Throne, blah blah blah," and da-da-da. And she had a very happy ending. And it was different. It was nice to see someone who wants a happy ending, and I was like, in a way, I wouldn't be upset with a happy ending.
Everyone wants a happy ending, but George and Dave, they're not big on happy endings.
I know. We shall see what happens here. But anyway, they have a moment, and they kind of let us know what their plans are, which is more just kind of sitting it out and let them come to us. Yeah. She's much smarter than the people in the North. Let them come to us, and we will beat them back instead of...
Yeah, but she's got that Tywin Lannister streak in her. She has an emotional side that really overtakes all logic. Mm-hmm. And I think if anything is going to do her in, that's going to be it.
Yes. But what do you think is going to get her the most emotional?
Well, I think Jaime turning against her is going to be the big thing.
If she sees Jaime again.
If Jaime turns against her. I mean, it sounded like he was going to fight for her. So we don't know. But if he turns against her, I think that's really
Well, she already put a death hit on him.
Yeah, she took a contract out on his fucking head.
But I think it's one thing for her to do that when he's not there. Because she had a chance to kill him in season 7 when he said, I'm walking out, and the mountain was there.
Mm-hmm.
And... kind of blocked his exit, and he just looked up at the mountain, looked at her, and that was her chance. So I don't think she can. It's one thing for her to do it when he's up in the North, put this hit out on her, but if she actually sees him face to face, which maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants to just be able to talk some sense into her. I think it's going to be a different story. Who knows what's going to happen there. But now we got to talk about something else before we get to the big final scene. And props, I'm going to give props to, this guy doesn't need props.
Oh, this is the treason scene.
Yes, because this dude, he's got like 100,000 views. Although, not that we're upset with our views, because we're a bunch of drunk fucks, and we're getting about 100 views on our videos, which is fucking awesome. I don't know 100 people that... want to listen to me talk for an hour.
No, me neither.
Yeah, unless they're paying us. Yeah. Right? Because we teach English here in Brazil. So thank you to all our listeners. But But there's this guy that I do like, Talking Thrones, and he's got a lot of great theories. And he had been bringing up this idea, and he shows a lot of clips throughout the series of how he felt that Tyrion and Varys, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Were going to betray Daenerys.
They did.
And they did.
They
And
did.
so props to him, because he's been saying this since even before the season started. He's like, I'm telling you, they're going to betray her, and they've been sowing these seeds.
They haven't quite done it yet.
Yes.
They've sown the seeds.
Well, here it's like, yeah, I mean, but they've sown the seeds and watered them a little bit in this scene. Because in this scene, it was really like they laid it out. It wasn't,
she's not the right person.
Yeah, and even Tyrion was like, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
But thinking is not treason. Now we're talking about it. That's taking it to the next step. And of course, they're only having this conversation because Sansa told Tyrion, and of course Tyrion told...
she opened her big fucking mouth.
Yes. And of course, and Jon opened his mouth at the start.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the time to do this, Jon Snow.
He should have told his siblings, but his siblings should have kept their fucking mouth shut.
I don't know. I mean, he should have known that Sansa wouldn't be
She
able
has such a fucking big mouth.
Yeah, so... just choose your moments a little better. Not in the middle of all this conflict and all of this to have this information come out. But anyway, it's out there.
Yeah.
And they have this, I think they're at Dragonstone, or whatever the name of that
castle.
That castle is. But anyway, so the question is, if they go ahead with it, which I believe they will, because... Varys' only concern is for the realm. He wants people to have a good leader.
He is the most true person on the show, actually.
Yes, which is crazy, because in the beginning I couldn't get him. I didn't know if he was good or bad.
He's a bit manipulative, insidious, but no, his concern is the realm, and he wants a good ruler. He wants peace, he wants prosperity, blah, blah, blah. And he believed in Daenerys in that respect up to some point, but now he's seeing that she has some serious fucking problems. And
what did he say? He had that great line about the every tyrant or every leader says that they're destined.
Right? Yeah. And he's believed in Daenerys for this long, but he's come to see that she has some problems.
A few character flaws.
Yeah.
Like burn people alive.
Yeah.
Type character flaws.
Yeah. So he's backing somebody who doesn't want it. That's the weird thing, because I mean, okay, Daenerys is definitely destined to take the throne, blah, blah, blah. But the guy who is most deserving of it, and as Varys says himself, perhaps the guy who deserves it is the person who doesn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
He is very reluctant to take the lead. Not just because it's going to fuck with his girlfriend, who also happens to be his aunt, but but just because it's not his thing, like Jon is not a king.
Yeah, well, he is though. That's the interesting thing about it, because he didn't want to be the leader over there at Castle Black.
Right, he didn't want to be. He didn't want to be the king Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
And he didn't want to.
And they killed him for it.
Yeah, and he didn't want to be the king of the North, but he got it.
Right.
And he was a good one. And he doesn't want to be the king of the Seven Realms. And, I watched this great little clip about the season 1 promo for Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. And in the first season, they had this promo where they kind of showed a whole bunch of different people on the throne. And they had Jon Snow sitting at it in the end. And the guy did this cool breakdown where they said, like, everybody else, when they showed them on the throne, either they had, like, their face to the side, or they want to show a straight shot. But then when it gets to Jon Snow, it's just him sitting straightforward to the camera, as if to say, this is the guy that's supposed to be on this throne, not anybody else. He would be the best choice. I don't know if it's going to happen.
If he's supposed to be, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, he's the best choice.
He is.
But it's not necessarily mean it's going to happen. And it harkens a little bit to, I mentioned Lord of the Rings a little earlier, but I know Martin, like almost any fantasy writer, obviously influenced by Tolkien. That's part of kind of like the whole thing with Tolkien too. It was like the least likely hero. It was this little what do you call those motherfuckers? The little
hobbit.
Yeah, the little hobbit. Frodo's a little gay ass. He's the one. Nothing against that.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, his little gay ass with Sam. Not Sam Tarly, but Sam, whatever his last name was. They were the least deserving, quote unquote, of that mission, and yet they were the ones that ended up having the mission. So could he be building that up with Jon Snow too, George Martin, and using that influence of getting the guy that least wants it being the guy that ends up being the hero in the end? It would make sense in a literary sense, but again, we all know Martin and these writers like to subvert things a little bit. Mm-hmm. Although I just hope it doesn't get to the level of subversion just for the sake of subversion, because that would be stupid.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, this is the logical ending. Like, this is the guy that started with nothing.
For example, the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding is a classic example of Martin doing a shitty thing. Because it made sense in a literary value. I mean, Robb Stark betrayed his vow to Walder Frey.
Yeah.
He did. He promised he would marry his daughter if he would let him get the crossing. Walder gave him the crossing. He promised to marry his daughter, and then he goes and fucking marries another chick. Mm-hmm. And then goes to him and says, like, oops, sorry. So, yeah, don't be surprised that he fucking massacred your family, dude. Sorry, but, you fucked up.
Yeah, no, it made sense in that sense. A few people I was listening to this week actually argued a bit against these showrunners with the whole Arya thing, where for them it felt like subversion just for the sake of subversion, because, they set up so much that it was Jon Snow, Night King, and then for her to come out of nowhere and be the one that does it. The show never set that up throughout the series. I agree in a bit. I agree slightly.
I agree, but
it was well done.
Yeah, I think
that's why these fuckers get away with this shit.
That all our heroes have had their moments, right? Like John, Littlefinger was the hero of the Battle of the Bastards. But nevertheless, John has had his moments. Like, everyone has had their moments. Arya, that was her moment. She had to have her moment.
Yeah.
So, I don't really blame them for giving it.
I know. It's weird with this show. It's because it's like they do stuff that we're not always happy with, but they do it well enough where we can forgive them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you read some of the theories and you listen to some of the theories podcasts of where it could have gone, and you're like, oh my God, that would have been a million times more meaningful, a million times cooler. But what they did, it's a little bit more base level, but it worked. I mean, it's still entertainment level.
I mean, this episode, I think, it was dragging for me for quite a bit. And, when it picked up and it's like all of a sudden they're in fucking King's Landing and well, we got to get to that. But, when we get to that point, it's like, holy shit.
I know.
Like, it's moved so fast.
I know, the dominoes just kind of, they fall. And so let's get to the end here. And then, of course, there's going to be a thread, this possible betrayal. Sansa might have a little something to do with that. But, they convinced Daenerys to at least talk to Cersei and say,
That was
look,
a good idea. I
yeah,
think it was a good
no, it
idea.
was a great idea. It was better than her idea of just running up in there and burning everybody
Yeah.
to death. So they're like, all right. But the thing is, you see, she's lost. She's out there because she's like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
she's
this.
already fucking mad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do this because it's a great idea. I'm gonna do this because the people are gonna know that when I breathe fire down on them, or what my dragon does, that I wasn't the one that caused it.
Yes.
Like they're really gonna
Yeah.
put those, link those
Yeah.
dots. But they do it. They go up there and have a cordial conversation with Cersei, and
It
her.
doesn't work out.
Yeah, it doesn't really work out because they have Missandei captive, and Tyrion tries to talk to the old ass dude. That's Cersei's.
That's Pycelle.
Is that his name? I have no
Pycelle.
clue. He's
Yeah,
the
Grandmaster Pycelle.
the Meister. Yeah, Master, whatever. And anyway, it all culminates to Cersei saying, "Do you have any last words?" to
Yeah.
poor Missandei.
Yeah, there goes your fucking head.
And
bitch.
there goes your fucking head. And you know what's interesting is that we predicted some of these deaths, but for them to happen during the battle at Winterfell.
Right.
But they're kind of spreading them out. So I
Yeah.
think, because I was re-listening during the week to our, I think episode 2 podcast, because that was the big, everybody, the last night alive podcast, and we were all predicting who's gonna go in this
Mhm.
battle, who's gonna die, and I think we may still get those correct, just at the wrong place. We got the right people, but in the wrong place. So I felt so bad for Missandei, man. And by the way,
Yeah.
this is another one of the spoiler clips that I saw, so I wish I hadn't seen it. But it was still great, just the build up for it. And
Yeah,
she's a
that
sweet
was
girl.
a bad mistake by Cersei, though, I think. Because, I mean, like, Melisandre was so valuable as a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And when she kills her, like, now she has nothing. Now there is no reason for people not to ruthlessly attack her.
I agree. Yeah, and that's the point you were making earlier, that Cersei sometimes just lets her evil nature just get the best of her.
Yeah, and, like, okay, the thing with Cersei is, in the beginning of the series, I think she's actually a very sympathetic character. She's married to a man who doesn't love her. He's in love with a dead woman. He's a drunk. He abuses her. He hits her repeatedly. Um, he's not a nice guy, and most of her repellent actions are responses to her being threatened. She feels threatened, so she responds naturally. I mean, okay, she fucks her brother, but apparently everybody fucks their family in Game of Thrones, so we can't judge too harshly there.
Yes.
But she responds to threats, but at a certain point, her responses just become more extreme. And they become more extreme as her children become
Yeah, I was
eliminated.
about to say that, yeah.
Like, especially, she blows up the Sept of Baelor,
Mm-hmm.
and her son, Tommen, immediately kills himself. He jumps out the window. And after that, she's done.
She was gone, because you see even with her response to it, when she just asks to see the body, and she doesn't cry, she doesn't, she's just like, she's done. She's
Yeah.
crossed over to the other side.
Yeah. So I think at this point and this is one of the things that I like and hate about the show, that she is like the supreme female villain. At this point, after her children are gone, she's lost everything. She is like the mother of all fucking villains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's funny you mention all that, because there's a slight parallel with what's going on with Daenerys. Because she also did a lot of things. Of course, she was portrayed more as the good guy, quote
Right.
unquote, throughout the series, whereas Cersei was portrayed more as the quote unquote bad guy. But she did a lot of terrible things and killed a lot of people, but it was for a just cause. But as you see, the first dragon go, the second dragon, which are like her children, her going a little nuts too,
Yeah, there's a parallel though.
and how she's ready to burn a whole bunch of innocent people right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's ready to fucking kill the innocent. Like,
yeah, no, she that's her. That's her right at this moment. She was there before, and Tyrion kind of talked her out of it. I think that was last season where that was her plan, is just fly in there. She's like, I got three dragons.
You're not gonna fucking rule a kingdom if you murder everybody.
Yeah, but that was her plan. She's like, I got three dragons. Let's just roll up on these bitches. And he's like, you do want to rule. Plan. Yeah, but who are you going to rule?
Yeah, exactly. Rule.
So, talked her out of it, but that was for me the beginning of when I at least I started saying, hey, this girl, because up to that point I was kind of rooting for her.
She has a lot of fucking hurrah moments.
Yes, no, she's got a bunch of them.
Especially the one where she gets the Unsullied. You remember the episode when she gets the Unsullied?
That's great. That's classic.
They're going to sell them to her, and she's like, no, I'm just gonna fucking burn you all and take them. And if you want to serve me, that's fine. If you don't, it's cool.
Well, no, because she bought them, and then she gave the guy the dragon and put it in his hands, because that was the trade-off. And then she's like, okay, you're all mine now. Kill your masters. And by the way, dragon, burn him to death. And so, no, she's got a bunch of hurrah moments. Even the episode...
The one where she kills all the Dothraki widows, too, is actually pretty awesome.
No, I just finished season 6, so it's super fresh in my mind, and I think it was the last episode. They were stuck in that little stadium, because the children of the whatever, those people in the city that wanted her gone, they attacked her, and the dragon came and saved her at the last minute. Actually, so probably it wasn't before the end of that season, because she was out with the Dothraki. That's how she ran into the Dothraki again. But yeah, she's got these hurrah moments where she just escaped at the last minute, and then she came back.
And people underestimate her so much.
Yeah, so she was...
But that's the thing. People underestimate Cersei as well.
Yes.
People underestimate Cersei. People underestimate Dany.
So. But the big shift was from season 6 to 7. As soon as she got her armies, she got on those boats, she started moving northward.
She lost her fucking mind.
She lost her mind a little bit, and she's like, listen, because I think that's where the destiny thing really, it finally materialized. It's like, before this, here I am, I'm stuck in Meereen for like 2 seasons. I'm stuck in this other city for a season and a half. I'm stuck with the Dothraki for like a whole season, more or less. In the beginning with Count Drogo and all that stuff. Right. And now it's actually real. And I have a huge army. I have a bunch of ships. And I have 3 dragons. I can just take this shit, And it took Tyrion and a little bit of Varys to be like, yo, bitch, settle down. But she didn't settle down.
And Jorah.
And Jorah, she had a whole bunch of people. But Tyrion, I thought, was the one that mostly got into her head. But she showed that, hey, when she burnt the Tarleys? When she burned them alive, she's got a mean streak. She's got a mean streak. And now she's back to her original plan. I'm just going to roll up on King's Landing and just burn these motherfuckers. So,
and that's what's going to happen next episode. I guarantee you.
Oh my God, it's going to be a lot of carnage. It's going to be horrible. But again, going back to our 2 traitors here, it gives a real reason for them to want to stop her. So I'm so curious as to what the next episode will be. I believe it's going to be a huge battle, and they've kept kind of their mouth shut. They were building up this...
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be resolved next episode. I think that's going to be the end game.
No, it's not. But the seeds will definitely be planted, and we're
Yeah.
gonna see little sprouts coming out next episode. But I do think, yeah, I can't wait for next episode. I think it's gonna be the big battle episode. A battle probably better than the last one we
Yeah,
saw.
yeah.
Big,
I think Cersei is going down, but she's not gonna die. Her army is gonna fall, but she will live.
she'll escape somewhere and
Yeah,
maybe still have some
yeah,
mechanisms,
yeah,
some involvement in the final episode, and which you mentioned, which is true. Usually, Game of Thrones has a tendency to do the big battle episode,
yeah.
and
They deliver
then
the knockout punch
yeah,
before the finale.
yes, exactly. So the finale, and they've been really good with the finales after the knockout punch. So I'm looking forward to what's gonna happen there. But rest in peace, Miss Andre. Sorry you had to have
Oh,
your head
baby,
cut off.
she's so hot.
She is. She's beautiful. And poor Grey Worm had to watch it all go
I
down.
know, that's
And
sad.
yeah, but we called it when they had that scene up
I know
north.
they don't
where
like
they're
black people up north.
I know. They're like, well, black. Actually, it was funny. I'm in black nerds group. The blurs they call them. And every once in a while, most of them are cool, but every once in a while, you get at least one person that'd be like, "Why is there no representation in Game of Thrones?" And I wrote this. I mean, it was cool that most of the people got why there isn't, right? I mean, this is
Right.
supposed to be
They're
a fantasy.
northerners.
Yeah, it's like a fantasy Europe,
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, study your history. The Moors were okay, yeah, but the Moors were like down in Italy. Even if you take like Africans into consideration, they were mostly down in southern Europe, not up in England. And George Martin's version of Europe is fantasy Europe. It's cold as fuck, and black people ain't trying to be up in the.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, as soon as they got there, they're like,
Yeah.
let's get the fuck
Let's
out of
get
here.
the fuck out of here. Like, I ain't beat for this winter is coming shit, Leave me down in Marine and wherever. Like, black people are trying to chill by the beach. Not, not be up waiting for
That
winter to
is
come.
exactly what Grey Worm says to her. He's
Exactly.
Like,
That,
he's like, I want to take you to the beach.
Exactly, I wrote exactly that. I said in last episode was great season episode 2, because they actually had a line of dialogue showing that these black folk didn't want to be up in the north either,
Yeah.
because that's in general. I mean, you're
Well,
from
so they
Canada.
were welcome.
You're from Canada. I don't know
Yeah.
how many black people are in Canada, but I don't think it's like the first choice of like a black person to say, "Oh yeah, I want to
No,
go
if you're
live up in the
escaping
tundra."
slavery, it's okay.
Yes, but like I don't want to, like of all my choices of places to live, let me go up to like Ireland, let me go up to like the tundras of Canada. No, the same, and the thing is, it's the same way the opposite. I mean, you have white folk obviously everywhere, just like you have black folk everywhere, but white people aren't trying to live in a hot Sahara desert, start sweating all crazy. That's what melanin's for. So anyway, so all these people, they're crazy, but it was nice to see these two black characters. Great. I mean, I liked them in the show, even though they were like F level
Sad
characters,
ending, though. Sad
but
ending
super
for her.
sad ending, because I would have liked to have seen Missandra. Grey Worm, I could have dealt with
It's
dying.
pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, but poor Missandra.
I know. She
But
actually taught Danny sex.
yes, right. It was her that did it.
Yeah.
I thought it was some other lady. No, it wasn't her. It was the way back when she was still living with Count Drogo. It was one of the Count Drogo's women that taught her. One of her servants. Cause she's
the
like,
one she locked in the vault.
I don't remember who it was, but remember she told her that what you're doing is you got to get on top of him because he's fucking you doggy style. But you got to spin around and take control, and when she does that, that's when their relationship shifts.
That's when they become lovers.
If anything, I think it was actually Daenerys that taught Missandre a little bit or something. Because then Missandre and Grey Worm kind of got down.
Yeah, because he has no cock.
Yeah, he's no cock, but he managed to do some shit. I mean,
good for him.
Good for him. I mean, cunnilingus, it works. Okay. And that's it. I mean,
Yeah, I think
guys. I
we're done.
mean, we talked about for a little over an hour here. I got some of the the pictures from last week's episode up here by mistake, and so let me remove them quickly. But what would you give this episode grade wise?
I would give it an 8.5. I was gonna give it just a solid 8
Hmm.
because the beginning was actually kind of boring, honestly. But they jumped into the Battle of King's Landing so fast. I would give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I think I'd go up to a 9. I'm trying to think what I gave the episode last week. I don't remember now.
You gave it a
Did
9.
I give it a 9?
Yeah.
If I gave it a 9, then I'll give this one a 9.3.
Hmm.
I actually liked it better than last week's episode. One, obviously, for the lighting issue last week. I think
Yeah.
that just takes a few points down.
The
And
the darkness is a metaphor for
yeah,
darkness.
yeah, I didn't, I wasn't feeling that. And in last week's episode, just felt like fan service. Like that's what we all of our heroes survived. We got
Right.
that awesome Arya last minute save.
Right.
But
This one fucked the fans in the butt,
yeah, no,
actually.
it felt more Game of Thrones this episode than the last one. The last one, it was too much of a happy ending. I
Yeah.
was a little upset that they didn't do more as far as the Night King mythology. I
Right.
know that they're trying to save a lot of it for this prequel series, but they could have had just a little bit of like, what's his real reason for coming down, other than just like, I'm the bad guy, like Michael Myers. Oh, I think
Right.
Michael Myers has more of a motive, like
Right.
what's his name, Freddy, and what's this dude? I watched all those movies for a fucking podcast, which by the way you can watch.
Jason?
Yeah, Jason. Check out the Friday the 13th podcast
Oh,
that
I
I
would
did.
join that.
Um, and yeah, I think even the classic boogeymen have more of a motivation
Right.
than the Night King, which for me
Yeah.
was a little bit upsetting.
Yeah, he didn't really have a lot of depth.
Which sucks given the fact that we had to deal with this motherfucker for like 4 seasons. But so that drops it down a little bit for me, which putting this episode on top. Because this one felt very Game of Thrones. I did like the beginning. I mean, it was a nice transition. Of course, you had to have a little bit of
Mm.
after the war type episode.
It was slow for me. Like at the beginning, I was like, "Oh my god, will this ever fucking end?" And then all of a sudden, it's like they're in King's Landing and they're fighting.
I know it happened out
And
of nowhere.
so, like at that point, I was like, "Okay, they made up for
Yeah,
it."
but it was good character moments. I like character moments in the
Yeah, of
show. I
course.
mean, episode 2 was all character moments. I mean, it
Yeah.
was all the way through. So this one, the first 20 minutes, character moments, and then let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's find out how Daenerys really feels about Jon's kingship.
Hmm.
Let's get the information
She
out to
didn't feel
everybody.
too well about it.
No, she didn't. Let's get the information out to everybody else so all the pieces are in
Yeah,
place.
let's fucking blab to everyone.
Yeah, let's see who's going to be for it, who's going to be against it. Let's see some more Cersei Lannister. Let's see some dragons dying. Let's
Mhm.
see all the plans that we have actually blow up in our faces.
Mhm.
So, for me, great transition episode from what was kind of an epic. It felt like a finale. It could have been the finale, right?
Yeah, but the next episode is gonna be like the big Dukaroo,
Exactly. I can't wait
and
for
the
it.
final episode is just gonna be like
Picking up the
resolution.
pieces.
Yeah,
Picking up the pieces. And these guys have been very hush hush about this second battle. They've been playing. I mean, I'm talking about outside of the show.
right.
They've been playing up, or they had been playing up the episode 3 battle so much, so much, so much, so much. And for me to think, okay, we got 3 more episodes after this big battle to not have one more, which might blow that battle out of the water, and I really think it will.
Yeah, it's gonna be the mother.
And no elephants, unfortunately. But I think it's gonna be the one that everybody's really gonna be pleased with and talking about for a long time. And hopefully it'll be during the daytime. Let's hope.
All right.
But anyway, guys, we went a little bit over today, but that's fine. It was a great episode. Until next week, good night or good day or whatever, whenever you're listening to
Cheers,
this.
fuckers.
Yes. Bye. Thanks for listening.